Welcome back, everybody. My name is BluJay, and we are back once again in my survival world, ready for a bit of a special episode today. If you're new to my channel and you're not sure where we are right now, this is not my base area, this is the subscriber village, and the couple of houses that we built over there on the left side of the screen are houses we built for a few dedicated subscribers early on in this series, and the giant pickaxe you see to the right of the screen was built to celebrate 500 subscribers. Now, if you're just coming into this channel and you've seen the subscriber count, we are well over 2,000 at this point. We are about 2,500 around the time of recording this episode. Not sure how much that's going to climb by the time it releases, but it's just kind of crazy. We didn't get a chance to celebrate 1,000 subscribers, so we're going to do both today. We're going to celebrate 1,000 and we're going to celebrate 2,500. And we're just going to call this episode Special K for the special couple of thousand subscribers that have joined this channel. So, to celebrate, we're going to build a couple of subscriber houses to thank a couple of people, and we'll also do a Q&A to answer your most asked questions. Let's get started. So the first house that we are going to build today is for a very special subscriber. His name is Jason Robb. And this guy has become a little bit more active in commenting on my channel as of lately. And if you watched the 500 subscriber special episode, I asked a question. And the question was this: what is the dumbest thing you've ever done in Minecraft? And basically just tell me your biggest mistake. And this guy left me a comment that literally made me laugh out loud. It was hilarious. And I'm going to read it to you right now. It says this: once I decided to build a house on an extreme hills. Who hasn't? I had to clear out a mountain to build my house. After I cleared the mountain away, I ended up with 2 double chests of cobble, not to mention everything else you find in extreme hills. I then built my house in the area that I had cleared out. I went to the top of a nearby mountain to get a good view, and when I reached the top of the mountain, I facepalmed. On the other side of the mountain, there was already a flat area, just like the one I cleared out. So I ended up wasting a lot of time. That comment alone, that was enough to earn this poor guy, a subscriber house. So we're going to build him a bit of a mountain house. I asked him what a couple of his favorite blocks were, and he said spruce and some stone bricks and that kind of stuff. So we're going to use those kinds of materials. And let's keep rolling here, and we'll answer some more questions as we build. The next question that we've got comes from one of my most dedicated subscribers. This guy has been commenting on my videos since episode 1 and always leaves really good feedback. And he's actually left some pretty awesome feedback, so much so that he has earned himself a subscriber house. He got one of the first 2. This guy, Steven Yeager, he and Master TMO, the 2 of those guys have been so active on my channel that they both earned a subscriber house early on in the series, and so they've got their houses over here right next to the one we're building right now. And the question that he wanted to know was, when you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up? And how does that compare to where you are at now? And just like any other boy growing up, I had dreams of becoming an astronaut, a firefighter, a police officer, a professional athlete, all of those kinds of things, and none of those things ended up being what I do. And none of those things are things I'm particularly good at. I mean, I'm an okay athlete, I'm pretty decent at basketball, but I wouldn't say that I'm, tall enough or fast enough or skilled enough in that to be a professional athlete. No way, no how, never gonna happen, not in a million years. But one thing that I do feel like I am skilled at is music. From the time that I was a little kid, from 4th grade onward, I was involved in my school choirs. So I joined the choir in 4th grade, and then in high school, I joined the show choir and did all of that kind of stuff. And when I was in 6th grade, I joined the orchestra, and I worked my way up to the symphony orchestra in my high school, and I played first chair violin for 1 year and then played in the first violin section, if you know what that means. I played in that for a few years. And it was just an overall really good experience being involved in music in school. And another aspect of music that I was involved in pretty heavily was when I was a sophomore in high school. I got connected with a couple of students from my church youth group. And they said, "Hey, we hear that you sing a little bit. Why don't you come on out to our student ministry worship team practice on Saturday? And we'd love for you to be a part of that." And that was really cool because that experience right there is exactly why I do what I do today, because somebody invited me to come be a part of something. And that's exactly what I do now. I am a worship leader for my church, and I've been doing that full time for what is it now? The last 7 years. So I've done it full time as a job for 7 years. And before that, I did it all through college for 4 years. And then before that, I did it for, 2.5, 3 years of high school. So I've been doing worship music for quite a long time. So that actually compares pretty accurately to what I wanted to do as a kid, because once I decided I'm probably not ever going to be an athlete or an astronaut or anything like that, I settled in on music, and I was like, this is something I'm passionate about. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. And I absolutely love my job. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy doing YouTube, but music and leading worship at my church, that is my passion, and that is what I am so happy to be doing as my full-time job. All right, making some pretty solid progress on Jason Rob's house, and we're going to start throwing in the walls here before we move any farther. And while we're putting in the walls, the next question that we have comes from a subscriber named Leo the Pup. And he says, he's got 2 questions, and I'll go ahead and answer both of them. He says, what inspired you to start YouTube? So that's the first question that I want to answer. What inspired me to start YouTube? Well, I've been watching pretty consistently, I would say almost every day. I watch Minecraft YouTube from anybody from the Hermitcraft server like Wells Knight or Good Times with Scar or Mumbo Jumbo or Exuma Void or anybody else you can think of on that channel. I watch most of their videos most every day if I can find the time. And if I don't have time that particular day, I always add them to my watch list to watch later. And I watch a lot of Pocket Edition guys, like I've been watching Jack Frost Miner for a couple of years, and I've been watching Dallas Med for a while, and recently discovered Daphne Elaine and X Dark Absolute and JoJo PE and all the other guys that are on the Unity server, which I'm just still beside myself that I get to play with those guys on that server now, because those are people that I've been watching on YouTube for a little while. And so basically what inspired me to start is watching their videos. And I'm like, all right, I do creative stuff for my profession. I do music, I do some video production, some filming kind of stuff. I've dabbled in graphic design with, my previous job before the church that I work at now. I did some graphic design, and I'm just overall creative minded. And so this is just another outlet for me to express my creativity. I love building things in Minecraft, and I love making videos. And I said to myself one night, you know what? I already play this game anyway, and I already enjoy making this kind of content. I wonder if I could start a channel and see what other people would think of the content that I have. And I'm so glad that I did, because this experience has been a growing experience for me. It's helped me to hone some skills in video editing, and that's looking pretty good. It's challenged me to complete builds and to complete worlds and things like that I wouldn't do before, because I would play Minecraft and then I would play on a world for a while and I'd get bored with it after a couple of months, and then I would delete it and start over. And now I'm like, I've been working on this world since February 20th. Well, a little bit before that, before I started my channel. But I've been working consistently on building in this world on this channel since February 20th of 2017, and I am still going strong, and I have no plans of stopping. I plan to keep building in this world for a very long time. So that's kind of my inspiration, watching other YouTubers, just overall being creative-minded and loving creating content and all of that kind of stuff. And then the other question that he had was, do you plan to do any more series on your channel? And, originally the question was no. The single-player series was pretty much going to be the only thing for at least the immediate future. I had talked about eventually doing some server games or, doing that kind of thing, which I might still do, but the answer has changed. Recently, I joined the Unity SMP, so I've got 2 survival series on my channel right now, and I'm dabbling around with the idea of doing some mini games here and there. So, stay tuned. I'm not sure what the plans are just yet for other series besides this one and the Unity server, but stay tuned. There might be some more content coming down the road. All right, we're making some solid progress on this house. We've already got one of the roofs on, and yes, I said one of the roofs. We are putting 3 different roofs on this to connect up the different areas of the build. And while we do this, we've got another question yet again, and this one comes from the Sammy Plays Minecraft, and the question is, are you planning to play Minecraft PC in the future, or only MCPE forever? This is a bit of a loaded question, and a little bit of a loaded answer, so let me try to break this down as best as I can. Minecraft Pocket Edition has been pretty much the only version I've played. I dabbled a bit on Xbox. I played it for a few months when I first bought it, but I haven't played a ton on there. And the biggest reason for that is that I like the accessibility of the Pocket Edition, and I know that it's not going to be called Pocket Edition anymore coming up with the 1.2 update. It's just going to be called Minecraft because of all the cross-compatibility, and that is actually going to encourage me probably to play a little bit more on my console when I'm doing things like mining sessions and things that I can do off camera. But as far as PC goes, probably not in the immediate future. I don't ever like to say for certain yes or no to something for the future because things change. Circumstances change, and sometimes what you thought was going to happen actually is not indeed what happens at all. And so the best way that I can answer that is I have no plans to play the PC version in the immediate future. Not that I wouldn't be willing to do that down the road, but I don't have plans for it. Secondly, I don't have a computer that's capable of running it. The MacBook that I have, that doesn't look right. It's not. We take this one out and we put a stair upside down right there. Okay, now I'm back on track. So the computer that I have right now is not really capable of handling Minecraft. It's a bit of an old MacBook, and the internal hard drive is actually not working properly right now, so my operating system is booting off of an external hard drive, and so it kind of takes a toll on the computer a little bit, and it just doesn't process things the way that a fully functioning computer does. So there's that limitation. There's I've already got this series going. I don't really intend on starting a PC series. It's just not something that I'm planning on doing right now. Again, I don't want to make any for sure statements for the future because that may change. But right now, it's Pocket Edition. That's what I'm sticking to, and that's probably where we're going to stay for quite a long time. All right, making quite a bit more progress on this house. Sorry for all the jump cuts and not showing tutorial-style builds today. This is a bit, like I said, of a special episode. So my focus isn't going to be necessarily on tutorial, but more on answering your questions, as we've been doing so far. So while we knock out some windows, here's the next question. This one comes from the Championship Duckling. I love that username. That's hilarious. The Championship Duckling. The question is, will you ever make a download for your creative testing world? And I want to answer that question with a question. Would that be of interest to any of you? Would you be interested in taking a peek at the behind the scenes of what I do before I build in my survival world? So it's something I'm willing to do if people are interested in downloading that and taking a peek. But I'm not necessarily going to do it unless people are interested. So what do you guys think? And to answer this question a little bit further, if you don't know what a creative testing world is, that is the place that I go to build everything from the houses to the base design to auto smelters to redstone kinds of things to nether portal rooms, end portal rooms, anything that you've seen on this series, 90% of the time, I've already pre-built it in a creative testing world so that I know exactly what I want to do when I go to gather resources for survival. That way I'm not wasting time gathering resources that I'm never going to use. And that way we can have a little bit more of a smoother building process once we get into our survival world. So that's basically all it is. Everything that you see here, that's what I've done there. And it's not actually in this world because I do multiple things. Now I'm building for the Unity server in that testing world. It's in a flat world. So I build everything in a flat world and just make sure that it looks good before I build it here. So would that be of interest to you? Do you guys want a download for the testing world? Let me know. All done with the exterior and on to the inside where we're going to start digging out the floor. And the next question comes from Awesome Boss 365. And the question is this: what is your favorite thing about Minecraft, and why, as an adult, do you still play Minecraft? So let me answer both of these questions separately. My favorite thing about Minecraft. The short and simple answer is building. I love building things in Minecraft. Now, there are lots of facets to the whole Minecraft experience. There is adventuring. There is building, there is the survival aspect where your main and only goal is to survive. You don't necessarily have to build anything in survival. You can just go gather resources and gather food and make sure you've got weapons that can fight off all of the nasty mobs that come out at night. You don't have to build anything. There's that survival aspect. Then there's also the technical aspect of redstone and problem solving, trying to figure out new contraptions and all of that kind of stuff. My favorite part of the game is probably building it, and that's because that's probably what I do the most. I really do enjoy going on a good adventure, and I enjoy building a neat redstone contraption that does something that I didn't know was possible before in Minecraft, and I enjoy every facet of the game, but building is probably my bread and butter. I really enjoy just coming up with a new idea, and these houses are actually not my sweet spot. It took me a while to design these, and it took me a while to build them, as you are seeing here in the episode. My bread and butter for building, the sweet spot for me, is actually more abstract stuff, and it's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy building bases that, you know, could exist in reality if they're structurally sound and that kind of thing, but I enjoy building things that you wouldn't see in everyday life. And I think that goes along with things that interest me as far as like entertainment with movies, and I enjoy comic book movies and sci-fi movies. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. And, you know, people argue Star Trek or Star Wars. I say, why not both? They're both awesome. And so that's kind of the mindset that I come into building in Minecraft, is building things that you can just use your imagination and do something that you couldn't necessarily see in real life if you were walking down the road. So building, that is my favorite thing about Minecraft, at least for the moment. And why, as an adult, do I still play Minecraft? Well, let me just put it this way. I didn't even discover Minecraft until I was an adult. I had already graduated college. I had already had a full-time job. So there was no playing Minecraft as a kid. The only equivalent for Minecraft when I was a kid was Legos. And I'm sure most of you have played with Legos yourself. But why do I play as an adult? Because it's fun. That is the short and simple answer. It is an outlet for expressing creativity. It is an outlet for problem solving. It's an outlet for community building, like the Unity SMP server. There are other people that I'm playing with on there that I would not have otherwise met had I not played this game. And it is a fun experience being able to bounce other ideas off of other players and just say, hey, I've got this build idea, or hey, I want to go on an adventure. What should I do? Or anything like that. It's really cool to be able to play in a community. So why do I play as an adult? For many reasons. But short and simple, it's because it's fun. Well, we are almost done with this house, and I want to take a break from the Q&A just for a moment to tell you what we're going to do next. Oh, what a nice view. But there's a nicer view out of the back of this house, and what I want to do, I was hoping I could see the pickaxe from here. Can't see it. But what I want to do is I want to go back here, and we're going to build a balcony on this roof that overlooks the mountainside. And the reason we're doing this is just to poke a little fun at our special subscriber here, Jason Robb. As you heard earlier in this episode, we are building this house for him because he's a dedicated subscriber and because he had a poor experience when he carved out an entire mountainside to to flatten it out, and there was already a flat area on the other side of the mountain, and he just didn't go look, and it resulted in a little bit of frustration. And I laugh not to make fun, but I laugh because I've done things very similar to that in my experience, and I know how frustrating that can be, and you're just like, oh man, why didn't I just walk on the other side of that mountain? And so we're going to give this guy a balcony so he can take a look at the mountainside, and there's actually a flat area over there too, which makes it even better. I don't think that's the right block. We're not going to use that there. I think we're going to use spruce logs. But there's a flat area over by this mountainside too, just as a reminder that, hey, we all make mistakes. It's okay. It's okay. All right, just about done with this balcony. A couple more fences, and there it is. There is the lovely view of the mountainside with that flat area that we just talked about. Oh, Jason Robb, I hope you enjoy this house, and I hope you enjoy the view, because it is a good one. Well, folks, we are completely finished with this house, and I want to take a little bit of a tour so you can see what we've done, and look at all of the angles of the roofs. Oh, I just love it. I love the contrast. I love just the dynamic that different elevation and different angled roofs bring to a house. Oh, looks so good. I love it. I hope you guys like it too. Let's pop on inside here and take a look at what we did. We've got a kitchen area with a stove and a kitchen chair and table. And then we've got a reading area with a nice comfy couch to sit on to read some books and study up on Minecraft. And then we've got a bed and, as promised, an ender chest for every subscriber. And a beautiful view once again. Now, the next thing that we need to do is give our gift. We always give a gift to each subscriber, and your gift is cobblestone. So we're going to throw a bunch of cobblestone in here just for you, Jason Robb, as a reminder of that massive mountain that you dug out. Whoops, don't want to throw those in there. We don't need those. We need cobblestone. As a massive reminder to the massive project that you pulled off in flattening out some land when it didn't actually need to be done. I hope all of this cobblestone serves as a beginning set of resources for you to build in this world if you choose to download it and collect the gift that we've given to you. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being a dedicated subscriber on this channel. This house is for you. This gift is for you, Jason Robb. This next subscriber house goes to a very, very special subscriber. This person is the most dedicated subscriber I have ever had, and is absolutely my biggest supporter, not just on YouTube, but in life in general. And if you haven't caught on already, I am talking about my wife. She has been so encouraging and so supportive ever since I started this channel just a few short months ago. It hasn't even been a year yet. It was February of 2017. And she listens to a lot of conversation and a lot of statistics and a lot of, hey, I've got this build idea, and she just tells me all the time how proud she is of me and how excited she is that I'm doing something like this because it's something I'm passionate about and really enjoy. So I figured it was time to say thank you to her by building her a subscriber house in our subscriber village. I'll tell you a little bit more about the unique features of this house and how that relates to her in just a little while when we get there. But we're going to go ahead and move on to some more questions for our Q&A right now. This next question comes in from Morton Hagren, and the question is this. How much time do you spend on average on an episode, and what is the split between playing, planning, and editing? Short and simple, it's a lot of time. Let's take the last couple episodes for example. When we built the End Portal room, that episode was divided into 2 parts for a couple of reasons. The first reason being that it was a pretty large build, and so I didn't feel like I could tackle it all in one episode and have it be a relatively, decent length for people to watch. Now, this episode is probably going to be a little bit longer because it's a special episode, but I try to keep them on an average between 20 and 30 minutes. And if I were to try to tackle that entire build in one episode, it would be 45 minutes to an hour. Just crazy amounts of time. And so I divided those episodes, and so they are 20 to 30 minutes in length. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see on camera. There's resource gathering, there is planning in a creative testing world, there is designing, tearing down designs, and redesigning until I'm happy with the end result. And then there's the recording process. I'm not exactly sure what the breakdown is between planning, playing, and editing, but overall, if I had to give my best estimate of how long it takes to put together an entire episode, it's somewhere between the range of 6 hours on the short end for a really simple build to anywhere around 10 to 14 hours for a little bit more of a complicated build and something a little bit bigger. So that takes place over the course of a couple of nights because nighttime is pretty much the only time for me to play since I work during the day. And when I get home, I want to spend time with my family. And then we put our son to bed. And after he's in bed and we've spent our family time together, that's often when I do my recording. And so, at night, I can't stay up until 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning because I've got to get up and go to work the next day. And so I'm pretty limited on time. I'm limited to about 3 hours or so per night to do an episode and record it. So it could take a couple of nights. It could take 3, 4 nights to finally finish an episode, depending on how long and how, extensive the build is. But I crank them out as fast as I possibly can, and I have actually cranked out an episode or 2 within one night before, but it's a rare occasion that actually happens. So just to answer your question, it's about 6 hours on the short end, 14 for a really long episode, and around 8 to 10 hours for anything in between. Just a little plug for Twitter here. This next question comes in from one of my followers over there. If you haven't followed me on Twitter yet, be sure to do that. There's a lot of interesting things that I post. I try to post some previews and try to, maintain a level of relationship with people as much as I can and answer questions over there and communicate with people as best as I can. So follow me over there if you want to see some of the content that I post on Twitter. The next question comes from one of my Twitter followers, and his name is Joe. And his question is this. Other than the setting, what do you see as being the major difference between your Let's Play and your server multiplayer series? Well, my answer to this question is the obvious one. The fact that it's not single player. It is a multiplayer server, and that honestly is the biggest difference because you can do collaborations. You can open up a shop. If I opened up a shop on my single player world, nobody would buy anything from it because I'm the only one that plays here. So that is an awesome aspect of Minecraft that you don't really get to experience unless you're playing with other people, is opening up a shop and offering a service to somebody that they wouldn't necessarily want to do themselves, but they would be willing to pay diamonds or iron or food or other services or anything otherwise. So that is a huge difference, is you can open up shops because there are other people to play with. Now, I don't have a shop idea in mind just yet for the Unity server, so if you've got an idea for me, be sure to leave that in the comments section. I'd love to hear your ideas on what I could do for a shop. So that's the answer to that question. The major difference between my Let's Play and my server multiplayer series is that there are other people to play with, and it's awesome. I love it. And another question that comes in from Twitter from a guy named HughTuber Gaming, and his question is, why MCPE? Why do you like it? And what inspired you? I already answered kind of the what inspired you question, but the why MCPE question, well, let me kind of expand on this question a little bit. MCPE because that is the first and pretty much only version that I've ever played. Honestly, I never was even interested in Minecraft from the beginning. It was a game that I had vaguely heard some things about, but had never really looked into or experienced. And me beginning to play Minecraft was actually an accident. My wife and I were talking with some friends, and we were talking about different games that we play on our phones. And I'm sure a lot of you have played Clash of Clans, and that used to be a game that I played pretty frequently and enjoyed, but then got burnt out on and haven't really played a whole lot since. But that was the game that we were talking about, but for some reason my wife thought that it was Minecraft, and she said, "You've played Minecraft before, right?" And I was like, "No, I've literally never played that game before. I've heard of it, but I don't even know what it is." And so a couple nights later, I was just curious. I saw that it was the #1 downloaded game on the App Store on my phone, and I was like, okay, if this is the #1 downloaded game in the purchased apps section, surely there's something to this. And so I downloaded it. And within the first couple of hours, I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand what you do. There was no tutorial. There were no instructions. I'm like, is this literally all there is to it? You just go and mine things and get resources? This is kind of boring. I don't know that I'm going to like this. I'm not sure that I'm happy I just spent money on this game. And as I was playing a little bit more, I was like, okay, maybe there's some videos or something, some instructions on how I can play this game. And from there, it just opened up a whole new world for me, because I just started searching YouTube for Minecraft videos. And one of the first YouTubers that I found was Mumbo Jumbo, and I saw his automatic sorting system in Season 2, I believe it was, of Hermitcraft. And from that point forward, I was hooked. And so even though Redstone did not exist early on in Minecraft Pocket Edition, I was like, man, this is a really cool game. And so that's the answer to why Minecraft Pocket Edition. It's because it's the one I downloaded, and it's the first one that I played. Making quite a bit of progress on my wife's subscriber house, and we're going to go inside and start working on the floor a little bit. We've still got some work to do on the exterior, but this seems like the next natural progression for our build. And while we're doing this, the next question that we have that comes in from the comment section is from a guy named Shoshi Trains. And he has a couple of questions, and I'm going to go ahead and answer all three of them, because I can probably answer them pretty quickly. First question, will you ever start a realm? Potentially. I have no plans to do it in the immediate future, but I've tossed around the idea of potentially starting a subscriber realm where subscribers could play together, but because we've gotten a couple thousand subscribers here, I can't really add a couple thousand people to a realm, so my idea is potentially to start a Patreon and potentially use that as an opportunity to reward people that support the channel with access to a private subscriber Patreon realm. I know a couple of Minecraft PC YouTubers do this from like the Hermitcraft server. They've got their own Patreon servers to reward people that support their channel with a private server where they can all play together, and that's something that I've considered doing. So potentially, I might open up a realm like that sometime in the future, but I'm not quite there just yet. I'm still tossing around the idea. Next question is, how long have you played Minecraft? I've played Minecraft since 0.8.0. Right before 0.9.0 came out, I didn't even really know anything about large worlds or infinite worlds. I just figured, hey, Minecraft is a square world with limited space, and that's That's all there is to it. And when they introduced Infinite Worlds in 0.9.0, I was blown away. I could not believe that Minecraft could be so expansive and so awesome. So I've been playing since just before Infinite Worlds came out. The last question from Shoshi Trains is, do you like animals? Random question. Yes. Yes, I do. I do like animals. I actually have a dog myself. Guys, if you are still watching this episode at 34, almost 35 minutes in, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you watching. It means a lot to me that you are spending the time to watch these builds and to hear these questions answered. I've got a few more questions to answer, but if I haven't answered your question in today's episode, still, please ask them, because I would love to answer as many of these as possible in the future. This isn't the only time I'm going to do a Q&A like this. I'm going to do it again. So please ask your questions that you would love to know the answers to. And I actually meant to do this early on in the episode, because these two questions right here are the absolutely most asked questions on my channel. I've gotten them pretty much every day since about 2 weeks ago when I joined the Unity server. The two questions that I want to get out of the way that I should have answered earlier, but I'm answering them now. What texture pack do I use? This texture pack is Faithful PE 32x32, and you can find it on MCPEDL.com. I will put a link in the description so that you guys can have access to that texture pack. It's a pretty good one. It maintains the integrity of the original look and feel of Minecraft, but just sharpens things up a little bit more. And then the other question is, what do I use to record? Right now, until iOS 11 figures out their nasty bug that squashes all of the video sideways, right now I use my MacBook Pro using QuickTime to capture the game audio and video from my phone. And then I use GarageBand with a condenser mic. That's the name of that thing. I use a condenser mic. It's made by Digital Reference. It's a fairly cheap microphone when it comes to condenser microphones, but I use that with a Focusrite Scarlett 6i6 audio interface connected to my computer, and I use that to capture my voiceover audio. And so that's the basic setup, and then I use iMovie on my iPhone to edit and put everything together and dump it down, and then I eventually upload it to YouTube. So there's a little bit of back and forth between my phone and my computer. That's the basic setup, and I hope that answers that question. So those are the two most frequently asked questions, and I hope that satisfies those answers for at least a little while. And the next question that we've got from the comments section comes from a guy named Michael Brady. And he says, would you ever do YouTube as a full-time job? And just as I said earlier with another question, I never like to say anything for certain about the future because, again, circumstances change and people change and life happens. As of this moment right now, it is not my plan to ever do YouTube as a full-time job. I just really enjoy my job too much. I don't ever see myself doing anything other than leading worship in a church and working at a church. It's something that I've done for 7 years now for a full-time job, and I am in no way burnt out on it. I absolutely love what I do. I enjoy the people that I work with, and I just don't ever see myself wanting to do anything else full-time. YouTube will always be something special to me and something that I want to continue growing and increasing, and if it becomes a second job, that would be awesome. I would love to do this as a second job, but as my primary job, I don't think that's ever going to happen, at least not for the immediate future. So again, I don't like to say never to anything, but at least right now, that's not the plan. The plan is just to have fun and to enjoy making videos, and hopefully you guys enjoy watching them. All right, we're making some pretty solid progress on this house. It's very, very modern style, which if you know anything about my wife, which most of you probably don't, there's a couple of you that subscribe to me on here that know me personally. But if you know anything about her, she actually really enjoys old houses. And so the fact that I'm building a modern house is a little bit ironic, but she said, build me something different, build me something unique, and this is the most unique thing that I could think of. And so modern houses are something that I've never really done in Minecraft. This is my first crack at a modern house, and I feel like it's appropriate that she gets the first the first attempt. And I'm really happy with the results so far. So right now we're going to put in the ceiling and continue on with our build. The last question today for our Q&A comes from the Twitter page. Once again, one of my followers, Rashid Alosani, asked this question. Why do you always play MCPE on touchscreen? Would you ever consider changing to Windows 10 Edition due to the fact that Windows 10 has 32 plus chunks? So there's a couple of questions in this question. The first one is about the touchscreen. I don't know why I always play, other than that's just the device that I play on that has a touchscreen. I don't have a controller for my phone, and I'm not sure that I would even want one. I've grown accustomed to the controls on the touchscreen, and it feels normal to me. I know a lot of people have trouble with the touchscreen controls, but it feels right. It feels like that's the way that Pocket Edition should be played. But I am not opposed to controllers by any means, and I'm not opposed to the Windows 10 Edition. I just don't have a Windows 10 computer. Now, there's a post on, I think it's on Minecraft's website somewhere, that is asking for upvotes or something like that about if you want the Bedrock engine to come to Mac, and I would absolutely love that. And if the Bedrock engine ever came to Mac, I would definitely download it, and I would definitely play on there, because that's the operating system that I choose to use. And so, would I ever consider playing on another device? Absolutely. I would definitely consider that, but it's probably always going to be the Bedrock engine, because that's what I've started my series on, and I want to keep building on this world for a long time to come. So, like I said, even though that is the last question that we're going to answer today, there are so many good questions out there that you guys have left, and if I didn't get to your question, don't be discouraged. I would love to answer it. Ask it again. Maybe I didn't see it, or maybe it was a duplicate of one you had already seen in this episode. So try to ask some new questions. Definitely try to avoid the texture pack questions, the what do you use to record questions, because that one comes in quite a bit, and I did answer it here. So hopefully you guys saw that. And I hope to see some more awesome questions from you guys, because I really enjoy answering them and connecting with you all in that way. Okay, so we are almost done with the subscriber house, and we have one more unique feature that we're going to add in here. Right there, we're going to add some bookshelves a little bit later, and that's because my wife is a very passionate reader. She loves reading books, and it's appropriate to have bookshelves in the house. I know I've done that for everybody, but that's fun to point out. And then the other thing we're going to do is out here, we're going to put in a swimming pool. And that is because my wife is a very passionate and talented swimmer as well. When she was younger, she was on a synchronized swimming team and could hold her breath for ridiculous amounts of time that nobody should be able to hold their breath underwater for that long. And it's a bit crazy. So she's very good at swimming and very comfortable in the water, and probably more so in the water than on land. So we're going to build a swimming pool just for her, and it's going to be pretty sweet. It's pretty basic, pretty simple, but it's a rooftop swimming pool. And so you can sit on the roof and admire the view around. You can see the mountains in the background. You can see the pickaxe from the roof here. It's a nice view and a nice place for a swim. All right, so this house is pretty much complete, and we're going to go slap a sign next to the front door. And speaking of front doors, we need to put one in, so let's do that really quick. And let's run back here and admire our work. Ah, it's perfect. I love it. So let's go ahead and add a sign on here, and it is going to say property of sink swim. And that's a nickname that my wife used to go by because she was a synchronized swimmer, and it's kind of a pun. It's a play on words, sink or swim. And I actually put a sign on Jason Rob's house over there, but I lost that footage. So there is a sign over there so you can recognize whose house is whose. So we go in the front door and we've got our table and we've got our kitchen and some books and a staircase, and up here we've got more bookshelves and our amazing swimming pool right outside the bedroom. And the very last thing that we need to do today is give my wife her gift for her special subscriber house. And this gift is a little funny because one of her least favorite parts of the game is the mobs. She doesn't like the zombies or the skeletons or the creepers, and so we're going to equip her with a full set of diamond armor and a diamond sword so that she can protect herself when all those pesky mobs sneak up on her and, try to do exactly what they do. So there we go. We can call this house complete. Unfortunately, guys, we are completely out of time, and it is time to wrap up this episode. We've done so much work today. We built 2 houses in one episode, and it was a very, very special episode because you guys are what made this episode possible. I appreciate you all subscribing and watching my videos and taking the time to comment and leave such good questions. Again, if your question didn't get answered, please ask again, and I would love to take a look at that and answer it in a future episode. Again, I can't reply to every single comment that comes in, but I do read every single one that does. And so if you leave a comment, rest assured, I will see it and potentially reply to it if I can. So let's talk really quickly about what's going to happen in the next episode. It's the episode you all have been waiting for. We are going to finally do another world tour and download day. I originally thought it was going to be episode 40, but because of different circumstances, the baby due date getting closer being one of them, joining the Unity server being the other, things have gotten pushed around a little bit. So we're going to push that date up from episode 40, where it originally was going to be, and we are going to do the world tour and download in the very next episode. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you enjoy it. But for now, my name is BluJay, and I've got to fly on out of here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.